Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our weekly Friday Culture Zoom. I'm Shannon Shine, Pro 6 here in the Denver area, and we're so excited to have you join us every Friday. This Friday, we're so excited about our guest today, but let me share two quotes that we share each week. A culture is strong when people work with each other, for each other, and a culture is weak when people work against each other for themselves. And the second quote, culture eats strategy for breakfast every time. So we love this culture call. We love bringing guests to you. I'm going to toss it to my fabulous co-moderator, Patty Goolsby, Pro 6, also in the Denver area, to introduce our speaker.
Thanks, Shannon, so much. Well, we are so excited to have Dr. Gene DeLucia with us today. Many of you have probably already heard him on with Darren Jensen, seen him at events, but I've asked him over the last, I don't know, so many months, and he reached out, just came back from Ireland, so we're very glad to have him today. But I do want to read his bio, so bear with me one moment because it needs to be read. He brings years of experience to Florida with a focus in physical medicine, internal medicine, family medicine, weight loss, and anti-aging. Dr. DeLucia prides himself in patient care and not only practices in this fashion, but lives it in himself. Dr. DeLucia is a board-certified family medicine, has been in active practice since 1977 after having attained his Bachelor of Science in Biology from Kent State University in 1971. Dr. DeLucia completed his rotating internship at Suncoast Hospital in Largo, Florida, and spent almost 40 years in family medicine. His passion is to help everyone attain a longer, healthier life through nutrigenomics. There's some more, but I want to go down to, he is a current member in good standing with the American Osteopath Association, the Florida Osteopath Association, Hillsborough County Osteopathic Medical Society, and the American Academy of Anti-Aging Medicine. He was on the original medical advisory board for LifeVantage. Everyone, please welcome to our call, Dr. Gene DeLucia.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. We just want to start off with hearing your story of why LifeVantage as a medical doctor. And then as we go on, Shannon and I will ask some questions because I know you're going to bring a lot of information today to today's call.
Okay. All right. So I'm a DO. I'm board certified in family medicine. As trained in Western medicine, of course, you know, we're trained to diagnose diseases. We're good at that, doing testing, putting names on the diseases, and treating endpoints. And we can become surgeons and cut that disease out if they're resectable. We can give you a drug for the endpoint of that disease. You know, we can give you treat a number, which we do often with your blood sugar and your blood pressure and all those things, cholesterol, or we can treat a symptom. And unfortunately, that doesn't typically get rid of the disease. We're looking at endpoints. We don't look at causes. So when I was young, my patient population was young, that was fine. Everybody came in, they were healthy, they got over whatever they had, mostly colds, flus, injuries, things like that. But as I got older and my patient population got older, I found myself passing out more and more pills, more drugs to my patients and to myself. I was up to 4 medications. You know, that's all part of aging, you know, what we call oxidative stress, cellular damage. That's progressive. It starts when we quit growing, it starts in our 20s, and progressively we're on a slow, slippery slope sliding downhill. What we do to ourselves, of course, can accelerate that. Things like, you know, polluting our body with cigarettes and, you know, bad lifestyle, standard American diet, all those things add to that accumulation of cellular damage, oxidative stress, and aging. So it accelerates that. So I found myself very frustrated as my patients came in and I was seeing more and more diseases because that same oxidative stress is linked to pretty much every disease out there, especially the chronic diseases. So as I got older, my patient population got older, I just found myself passing out more pills to people. And myself, I was up to 4 different medications at the time, and I thought, this doesn't cut it. This aging thing is not fun. Certainly passing out more pills to people was not fun, and I got very frustrated because I really didn't feel like I was helping my patients or myself very well. And I started looking around years ago for ways to slow that whole process down. That's why I joined the American Academy of Anti-Aging Medicine. Those are forward-thinking doctors. Those are 21st century doctors. We start looking at the root cause and not just treating an endpoint. And that's where I started. I'm a firm believer in the law of attraction. I think if you put it out to the universe, it'll find you. And it did. A little over 9 years ago, it found me in the form of an ABC News video that my UPS driver showed me, actually. At the time, I think he was late 20s. But he didn't know much about it. He didn't know that he wanted to show me a video. And he got the video in front of me after several months of trying to get past my front office. He succeeded. I do remember my office manager coming into me one day and saying, "Please watch this guy's video, get him out of my hair, he's bugging me." So, so we did. He came in, Brian Srolli and Fred Graves came in. There's these two young guys coming in, really not knowing a lot about what they were talking about, but they did want to show me a video. So I sat and watched that video and I thought, wow, if we can lower oxidative stress by an average of 40%, that impressed me. That little graph that showed that, you know, instead of increasing that oxidative stress, it was staying level, that of where we were when we were kids. That intrigued me. My first thought was, gee, this sounds too good to be true. I didn't know anything about NRF2 activation at the time. Didn't know what that was. I didn't know oxidative stress. So I decided I wanted to go look at it. I bought a bottle from Brian. I said, I want to try it myself. I want to go home and look at the studies behind it. I think at the time they had given me a couple studies. I think there were only 2 published studies at the time. This was back in 2010. And we only had one product, which was the Protandim NRF2. But I did go home and look at it. I read through the patents that they had. I read through the studies. I looked at the company. I looked who Dr. McCord was. And the following week, I joined. I really was interested in the product and the science behind it. That's what attracted me. I knew nothing about network marketing, didn't want to, wasn't interested. I had 3 clinics going and very busy. I was putting in a lot of hours a week. Not very happy with what I was doing. I was a little burnt out on all that. But that's what I was taught and that's what I was doing. So I really didn't need another business. Wasn't interested in that. Didn't need to be putting more hours in than I was putting in. But I did want my time freedom. You know, I didn't need the money. I was doing fine. I was single. I didn't have anybody spending my money for me. So, so it was one of those things where I thought, gee, I wouldn't mind retiring from this, but I knew myself and I knew within a month or 2 I'd be out looking for another job because I would be bored. But when I found this and I started using this in my clinic on myself, my family, that's who I brought it to first, my parents, my brothers and sisters, my friends and family, the people I loved. I wanted them to get on the product. And I brought it into my clinic also. And I started tracking everybody. I did everybody's, whatever I could that the insurance companies would pay for. We did lab tests on everyone, their cholesterol, their diabetes, their inflammatory markers, their liver, kidney function, everything we could do, their blood pressure. We measured everything when we started them. We did it at 3 to 6 months out. We did it at a year out. And I saw improvement in everyone, including myself. I was on 4 medications. By the end of the first year, I was off of all my meds. So I was very, very impressed with what we had. I ended up on the medical advisory board of the company. I was sending those clinical studies into Dr. McCord. He got pretty excited because he gets to see mice in a lab and I got to see humans. So he saw, you know, some of the results that we got and we were both pretty excited. But it built my belief tremendously in what we had and how this worked. And so I was more than thrilled that what we were doing, and it really literally changed the way I practice medicine. For the first time in over 30 years, I felt I was I'm making everybody healthier now. This is great. And that's really where we started. About 3 years into this, even though I didn't really understand the business end of it, eventually I did look at it because they kept sending me little checks every week. And I finally said, gee, I should look and see why I'm being paid here. And when I really looked at the business, I thought, this is pretty ingenious. They're paying people after the sale. They're not hiring anybody, employing anybody. They're independent contractors for the company. And it made a lot of sense to me. So even though it was very part-time for me, I was really busy otherwise, but I did commit to putting in a little bit of time in every day on it and went to the one meeting we had in the area every week. So gradually and eventually it started to grow. I went to my 2 best buddies and I said to them, look, I found a way for us to make some money together. You're going to come and take a look at this with me. And they joined me, and we started building it together. We showed it to their friends and family. I showed it to my friends and family. And very gradually it started to grow. But within 3 years, I was making a nice residual income that I didn't have to keep working for over and over again. I wasn't trading hours for dollars for it. And I was having fun. And I was really found something that we were all very passionate about, which is everybody in this company is very passionate about what we're doing. So I ended up selling my practices in 2014 because I wanted to do this. I found this is a better way to help more people. We can bring this to the world and change the world's health, or I can sit in my offices and see my 25 people a day and help one little corner of South Tampa. So I sold my practices. I continue to practice as a hobby. I still have a little clinic that I go in 1 day a week because it's still fun, and it's a passion for me to help people be healthier. But it's not a job, and I don't have to depend on it for a living, which I love. So that's really where I started. A lot of growth and development. My biggest phobia in life was public speaking. I thought there's no way I'm ever going to do the business because there's no way I'll ever get up in front of people to talk. Well, a little local meeting, they made me get up and say something, and then I said a little bit more. And then, eventually LifeVantage got me up on stage at elite academies, and, that you overcome with time. So, but it's been fun. It's been quite an adventure. It continues to be a lot of fun. We just got back from Ireland. Thank you, LifeVantage. It was a wonderful trip. It just affords you with so much more options in your life, not only better health, which is what our goal for everyone is. I mean, let's face it, we all want to live longer, healthier lives. That's the goal. And that's what this company is committed to, helping us to do that through nutrigenomics, natural products, not drugs. Drugs don't do that. And I'm truly convinced that this is a wave of the future in medicine. This is 21st century medicine. We're no longer treating endpoints, numbers, the symptoms. We're actually going to the cause of the problem, oxidation, inflammation. And so that's exciting for me. That I truly believe that drugs are a 20th century phenomenon. I think eventually further into this century, you're going to see less and less use of drugs. We already have something that's beyond that, past that, better than that. So that's exciting to me, and exciting to be part of this. This is cutting edge medicine. This is 21st century medicine. So a lot of fun to be part of.
Oh my gosh. I love hearing everything you just said. Okay, I know Shannon's got a lot of questions. We're both taking notes. So I want to go back. You started, you heard about this from someone who had no medical background.
None.
And you gave them that bit of time. Fast forward, you started talking to your patients. I do want to ask the question, what happens when you see someone where they're like, well, I just don't feel anything, doc?
Well, we did a couple things. We set up a questionnaire when a patient started on this, and it was just a 5 or 6 questions of 1 to 10 scale of pain, sleep, fatigue, energy, things like that. And we told them, hey, we're doing a survey for the company. I got them more involved. So you're gonna have to make sure you take this every day. And the survey is gonna be for 180 days. So we're gonna fill out this questionnaire when you start. We're gonna do it at 90 days. We're gonna do it 180 days. And one thing I did, even for my patients who were not very self-aware, and some people are not, we could go back at that end of that 180 days and show them the numbers changes. And everybody's did. Everybody's numbers changed, improved. So it was one of those things where even the people that came in and said, gee, I don't know, I don't really feel a change, I could go back and say, well, wait, let's look at the numbers and see. The other thing, of course, like I said, is we did all their labs. And that was something that I also saw improvement with everyone. That was exciting stuff. So I think we did it because we had some subjective and objective type findings. We could more easily say to this person, hey, look, this is working for you, whether you notice it or not. If I got my patients to commit to the 6 months taking it, if they did stop it, then they noticed a change. And I did it myself. At the end of a year, I stopped it for 2 weeks just to see the difference, because my changes were gradual. It wasn't a wow effect like some people get. But boy, I noticed the difference off of it for 2 weeks. And I thought, yeah, this really does work. So I think it's just a matter of telling people, look, this is not something that you're going to see changes overnight. I think with our new product, you will, but, and it's exciting, but I think you just have to tell them, look, you've got to commit to taking it daily. And this is the commitment I got from people. You've got to commit to taking it every day. And I want you to try it for 6 months, because you didn't age overnight. I can't reverse things overnight. At the end of 6 months, yeah, because we've been able to turn over pretty much all the cells in our body. So now we've repaired that cellular structures, we can start to improve that cell, because as we replicate that cell, instead of making a worse copy, which is oxidative stress and cellular damage, we're repairing that cell and making a little better copy. So everybody at the end of 6 months pretty much ended up staying on it. That was the thing. So unless there was a financial hardship, and that didn't happen often, because let's face it, it's not overpriced at all. It's priced for everybody's price range. So yeah, we got great success with it. It built my belief tremendously. The patients loved it. My friends and family loved it. So it just grew from there.
So I have a question going back a little bit before even sharing it with your patients. And yeah, Patty's right. I've been taking a ton of notes and have some amazing quotes from you already. But my question is, when it was first brought to you and when you were first looking at it and doing the research, this is what I picture. I picture, a very busy doctor, a lot of dictation that you have to do or filling, or at nighttime. So what about the ABC, or what was it that actually made you say, I'm going to take some time to read these studies, I'm going to prioritize this because I think I see something here? Can you tell us what that was that made you want to dig deeper?
Well, two things happen, and I'm the scientist first. And I think most doctors want to see science before they see anything else. I saw that video. I think that graph did it for me. When I saw that, and then Dr. McCord said, gee, we can take you back to the level of a newborn. I thought, okay, I want that. So that was the first thing I saw. I think the two studies that had published at the time, Brian brought in a copy of those, and I went home and really looked at those too. So I think that was what convinced me. I think seeing the science behind it, seeing how it worked, looking up NRF2 and seeing what it was and how it worked, got me pretty excited. That's really, and I just never even hesitated about joining, because it was the only way I could get the products. I don't know if you don't remember, maybe you do. All we got was a whole bunch of bottles of Protandim NRF2. That was it. That's all we had. So it was enough for me to share with the people I love. I went to my family and my friends and said, look, I love you. I want you to watch this video. I'm going to give you a bottle on the commitment that you're going to get on my website, order it, and stay on it for 6 months. You're going to take it every day. So those were my first preferred customers. Some of those were my first business partners eventually. So that's really the way we started it. In my clinic, at first we were selling it, and then I discovered, gee, I don't want to be retailing this stuff. We want to be getting people signed up. So we just had a sign up sheet. They filled it out. We put it in at the end of the day for PCs. So, but it's not the way we built the business. I built that with my couple of my friends. That really is what grew the business, not signing up preferred customers.
I love it. And okay, so fast forward in 2010, which was completely a different animal back then, to today. We've come along with a lot of products. You just earned the trip to Ireland. That required network marketing experience. How do you kind of encapsulate the last 9 years, almost 10? How do you put that all into words for someone today?
Well, I think for us, or for me, it grew from getting people on the product to looking for business partners. I mean, now we're building a business, we're looking for business partners. I guess that's probably more my focus nowadays. So when we go out and start looking, talking to people, and when I meet with people, it's not just to show them our products, which obviously we want to do. They're unique, they're patented, they're breakthrough products. But I want them to show them a business which most people don't know anything about and how it works. So Now that we're successful in it, it's much easier because I can say, look, this works. It worked for me, and I've never done it before. So, that's really where we came from. So I guess our focus has changed. So it's fun. It's rewarding. We get to meet a lot of new people. My business is in 9 countries. I don't know those people. I don't know 90% of my downline distributors, but because it's leveraged income, I do get, paid off their efforts, which is a nice business. I like it.
So you may be partially answering my question that I'm going to throw out to you right now, but what is it about network marketing that you like? Because you probably never in your life thought that you would be doing network marketing.
No, I honestly didn't I've never done anything really, but I was a lab tech before I became a physician, but I've never done anything else. So there was a learning curve, I must say. It took me a while to learn. It was just something when I really looked at the business model, I thought, this is pretty brilliant. This is unique. And because of that whole leveraged income where you're not doing all the work yourself, I thought, yeah, this has some possibilities. When I really sat down to look at it, I thought, yeah, this is potentially a multi-million-dollar business. And I had done other businesses. We owned a restaurant for years. We had an import business. So I was somewhat business savvy. I can't say all those ventures were successful, but you learn from all those. And so when I saw this business, I thought, gee, here's a unique business that I'm not really, there's no overhead. I'm investing a tiny amount, and the return became bigger and bigger. I thought, well, this is great. I love this for the smallest investment, no overhead. We had looked at franchises. We looked at one of the big ice cream franchises. I think at the time they wanted over $300,000 just for a franchise fee. That didn't include anything else. They wanted 6% of your monthly gross income. I thought that's pretty steep, for the franchise. So, and then it was very labor intensive. Of course, you're there 7 days a week. You've got employees, you've got overhead, you got all the things you have owning your own business that I had been through for years and didn't want to do again. So I thought, this is better. I own the business, but I don't have the overhead of a traditional business. So it was unique to me. I love the business now. I can't imagine doing anything else. I wish I'd have found it at your age and not my age, but it is what it is. So, yeah, it's unique. It is definitely unique.
Well, and just a comment, and then Patty, you can ask your question. But I love that knowledge that you just shared with us too. We hear how much franchises cost, but then that deeper knowledge that you have of, yeah, it's important to have multiple streams of income. And if you're going to have another one, look at how much you're going to have to be spending. I think that helps people's vision of, what is the better option.
Sure, absolutely. And to me, the goal is multiple streams of passive income. You don't want to be trading hours for dollars forever. I know many, many people that do that, even retirees that don't have enough money to retire on. I mean, the average Social Security check is what, about $1,400 a month. You can't live on that. So if you're depending on that for your retirement, it's just not going to happen. In the future, even that's shaky because, people that are working now, they're paying people that are not working anymore. And so somewhere along the line, that's just not going to work. So, it's something where you want to come up with some of those streams of income. Personally, it's allowed me never to touch my retirement money. It's still sitting there growing. This gives us a very nice lifestyle. We get to travel, which is what I wanted to do in my retirement. I met my significant other through LifeVantage. So I'm more than happy, where we're at. And so, yeah, it's changed my life in a number of ways. Better health, time freedom, financial freedom. Like I said, I've met my significant other through this company. So yeah, it's changed me in a number of ways, which I love.
I love it. And I know I've known you since the beginning, and I've seen that and watched you your happiness is just astounding. And that is so amazing. So it's brought you so much. We've got just a couple minutes left. I would love for you painted the picture already of that this is the 21st, this is where we're going with our new products coming out, with the Core 4, with gut health. Show us, paint that vision of how you go from here's the products, which you did, but maybe a little bit more of here's the business. Why not have both?
Sure. And it's, to me, just educating people. We're going to educate them about two things. What we have, unique products that nobody else has, that we have patents on. That's unique in this industry, but that's unique overall, especially when they're natural products, because, there's not a lot of, I don't know, published science behind most people's products. We have a huge amount of that, and growing every year. We get new studies independent of our company. That's impressive to me, that independent universities and corporations and the government are studying our product and publishing papers on it. That's almost unheard of. The drug companies would love that if the government and private universities would just independently do studies on their products, and especially if they're positive, which they rarely are. But that's unique. What we're doing is unique because, repairing at the cellular level, reducing inflammation, all those things lead to a longer, healthier life. That's really what our goal is for everyone. And that's really what we have. So we're no longer just putting Band-Aids on things, just treating a number. That's what's exciting to me. That's where, unfortunately, where Western medicine has gone in the past 100 years. Because before we had the big pharmaceutical industry and then the FDA and the government all pushing that, we didn't have any of that. And let's face it, the herbal medicines have been around for centuries. They're proven. It's just the unique blends that we've come up with that have made them much more powerful. So we have a different way, a better way to do things to help people. That's, to me, that was the goal, and that is the goal. I believe this will be an everyday household name someday. I believe this will be a multi-billion-dollar company someday. It's just a matter of time. I mean, we've seen it grow from a little tiny, $3 million company to a $250 million company, but this is just the beginning. This is just starting. So it's exciting with a new product coming out that I've heard. I have had any personal experience that people are seeing results in the first 24 to 48 hours. That's huge, because now we do have something we say, hey, try this for the next 2 days, then we'll talk. And that's tremendous. The business part is the other thing that we have to educate people on. They don't know, at least in this country, too much about direct marketing, about residual income, about leveraged income. And those are the other two things that we educate people about. When I approach people, I want to approach them with both. And we do. I mean, when I first started, I really didn't approach my patients as a business. I felt a little bit, uncomfortable with that. When we did start having our meetings in our office, we would always say, hey, these are the product, this is the product we have. And we're going to take a 5-minute break. If you want to stick around, we're going to talk a little bit about the business opportunity. Some of my patients did, and I did have some of them join us that way. But initially, it was strictly about the products. Eventually, we wanted to show people everything, and we do now. We want to know people to know about the business model also.
Awesome. I just thank you so much for your time this morning. I know you're getting ready to go to a conference, and so the fact that you took time out is just a complete blessing to so many. Shannon? She's moving.
Yeah, sorry. And I agree, Dr. Jean, thank you so much for your time this morning. And I'm chuckling a little bit that you said your conference is about the new drugs that are coming out, and
it's
we know what we have is.
Yeah, I have to do this to maintain my license. So I have to go to a certain number of hours a year of these Western medical conferences, and they're all drug oriented because they're sponsored by the drug companies. So the speaker is up there talking about their heart failure or their whatever it might be, their diabetes, and here's the best way to treat it, the newest and greatest. Just what I want to go learn.
Oh, goodness. Well, we are so looking forward to seeing you in Long Beach.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for your time this morning. You've been a plethora of information. And everyone, next Friday, same time, same place. We'll get this replay out today. Dr. DeLucia, have a wonderful day.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye now.